Coming to you live.
Yes, live.
Live.
Welcome to the Ref Room.
Hockey talk for parents, players, coaches, and fans.
Text everyone you know. Facebook, chat, tweet, buzz, bling. I don't know. Just do what you have to do.
This is the Ref Room with Scott and Brad.
Come on, come on, come on. It's about to go down.
The Ref Room starts right now.
It does. Welcome, everybody. I am Scott Smokin' Sills. I am joined by my good friend Brad Baumrock. We are coming to you live. It is lunchtime in Chicago, which means get your peanut butter and jelly sandwich ready to go. Brad's favorite meal.
You're never gonna. It's never gonna stop being funny. I don't know why.
Right.
It gets me every time.
So for you guys that have, if this is your first time checking out the show, be sure to put it in the comments. We'd like to see who's watching. We posted a link up here. If you're watching us from the Facebook group, which is Ref Room, you need to click the link so that we can enjoy your comments and know who's actually putting the comments up. And if you want to just stay a ghost, well, then you'll be a ghost, but we'll know anyway. So that's pretty much the deal as far as that goes. Hope you guys are enjoying all this weather we've had. I mean, we want to talk about this a little bit today because it really does affect all of us in what we do. And I mean, personally, I've kind of enjoyed it. I'm glad it's middle February and this is happening and that it's not like the end of November and we got to live with this for like 5 months. So, I'm in the city and I don't know about you guys, but like day one, like 2 weeks ago on I forget, it was a Saturday or Sunday, I couldn't even get out of the alley. I mean, my car was literally, the tires were basically off the ground. And two guys came over, my neighbors came over and dug my car out so I could get to my game. So
that was Sunday morning, Scott. And
yeah,
I heard a little story around the rinks that I'd like to share with some people. I told you it already, but
yeah.
So a fellow official, he lives in the city as well, and he lives down an alley. And he woke up Sunday morning and he's getting ready to go to his game. And he walks outside and he looks down the alley and there's like 20 feet of snow. at the end of the alley. The snowplows in Chicago had forgotten their alley and had plowed the snow into the alley, which
Nice.
makes absolutely no sense. So he looked at it and he went, uh-oh. So he basically worked his game for free because he called an Uber because it was too close to game time, and he took an Uber to his game and unfortunately had to get off his rest of his games for the day, which is, just one of the things that us officials go through that, a lot of people don't know.
They don't.
We try to get there, they try to get there, and we can't really have a say on the weather. I mean, you and me were talking before this. It looks beautiful outside right now. I got my window open, but Monday night, you and me had to work a game that was rather far away.
Yes.
And we were kind of worried about it because in the area that the game was at, they had already gotten 9.4 inches of snow.
Yeah, and that was several hours before the game, and it was still coming down. So,
and they officially ended up with like 17.7 inches up there.
Yeah,
just so
that's amazing.
Scott. But we were kind of freaking out, and we're waiting, and we're like, there's no way they're going to play this game. Well, luckily we happened to find that we knew one of the coaches.
Yeah, and believe it or not, we Googled. I literally went online and Googled like who the coaches are for the one team, because one team was listed as miscellaneous, so we don't even know who they're playing. So I Googled, and it's like, oh wow, we actually know somebody from here, and we were able to get a hold of them. So if you think things are looking bad weather-wise, I recommend maybe you try that. If you know one of the coaches or your partner knows one of the coaches, try to get some communication going, because I would hate to have driven, like, I don't know, for you it's probably like, what, 50, 60 miles?
58.
58.
Exactly,
for me, it's
58 miles
probably
each way.
30 plus miles to get there, and it's a snow belt area. And I actually had two games up in that area, but I was notified earlier, a couple hours before, that my first game had been canceled. And that is really a snow belt area. And so, fortunately, we were able to, make it through.
Yeah.
But I mean, Brad and I have been doing this show for, it feels like almost a year, like a lifetime.
It is almost a year.
And, I haven't seen Brad in a year and a half, 2 years? It's probably been that long.
It was probably December of 19.
No, we worked a playoff game at Lake Forest.
See?
So it would have been, maybe it was last year. It's probably last season. The end of last season, I think we worked a playoff game before everything shut down. So, I was looking forward to being on the ice with you, but, it never happened. We were hoping, hey, we could finally get a picture we could post.
Right. That's the idea.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it is what it is. Again, if you guys are just joining us, please check in with us. I see we have a message from a couple people. Hey, Paul Anderson, good to see you here. I bet New York. You're in New York. I know you got dumped on. You guys got it pretty good, and I think you're going to get it again shortly if you haven't already. And I think we're due for. I think we're getting 3 more inches. They're talking Wednesday into Thursday. Is that right? So tonight into tomorrow for Chicago, we're supposed to get. Oh, okay. So you're not getting it. You're south. So okay.
Yeah, southwest.
Let's see.
We'll cover what Steve put in there.
Yeah, we are going to go through that. So we do have a comment from Mr. Rickard, and we'd bring Mr. Rickard on, but he's on AOL dial-up service. We've had him here before. Just kidding, Steve. I love you. Haven't seen you in a while. Brad gets Scott to tell you stories of parking his old T-Bird on Division Street without snow.
Did you hit a light pole and we don't know about it? And it was
no. But like I worked. Paul and I worked at a nightclub back in the day at the BBC, and that's how I know Paul. And great guy, and stayed in touch all these years. That's where Facebook is great. You get to see your old friends. So. Parking down in Division Street area is never easy with snow. Okay, you just got to park up on snowbanks and stuff. So it is what it is. All right. Well, you want to look at this? We've got some IHOA seminars for any of you guys that have not completed yet. And by the way, there's a lot of games out there, guys. If you haven't figured it out yet, things have opened up. So I highly encourage you, which we've been doing for months now, telling you to get complete, get it done. And yes, hockey has returned. Thank goodness. Steve says, new IHOA seminars. Level 1 on February 22nd and 23rd, a Level 2 on 2/24, a Level 3-4 on 2/25, and there is no skating that goes with these guys. Is that correct, or has that changed?
No. So the Level 1 has an optional skate on the 28th. I don't know the time, but it's an optional skate. The Level 1s, we had quite a few people that wanted to come out and do the skates. And you know what? I'm not going to lie. Without those skates, you're kind of lost.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people look at it and say, "Oh, that looks real easy," and then we literally
you go
take
do
them
it
out there and drop pucks.
Let me tell you,
dropping a puck is an issue for people.
I'm going to tell you, I learned so much when I went to the Level 1 seminar. Now, this is my 9th season, but it was the year of the lockout, and Andy McCallum was there. Andy taught me how to do a couple things. One, how to drop a puck, because I didn't know how to drop a puck. So I learned from an NHL linesman how to drop a puck. And he taught me about shin tights, because my pants were going in the back of my skates. I had never seen a shin tight, didn't know anything about it. And I know a lot of the newer Level 1s and Level 2s, they don't know about them either. And this is a good way to get educated on, like how to look out there and what you're supposed to do and ways to improve yourself on the ice. So I can't believe that an NHL linesman would come out and work at a Level 1 seminar and give back. He attended all kinds of meetings. So, Andy, thank you for that. He answered a lot of questions for me when I was there. And, guys, we have a lot of very dedicated, talented professional referees that will help you. So these are really highly encouraged. I can't say enough about them, and you will have a great experience because the guys go out of their way to make sure that you're very comfortable and very prepared out there when you get out to your games. And we'll get you a mentor. Carl Sassolino runs the mentor program. So if you're a newer official, once you complete your getting your crest, all the work that you have to do, then you want to reach out to Carl, or does Carl reach out to them automatically? I'm not even sure how that works, but
they have to reach out to him, but it's covered at each seminar. Lots of the other locals do programs just like that, which if people don't know what it is, and maybe your local doesn't do it, maybe you want to get involved and say, hey, maybe we can start this. I'll help run it. But what it is we take a senior official. They get there early. They talk to the officials that are going to be at the game. They wear a black jacket because they're not technically a part of the game, even though they can stop it now if need be, because there was some issues over the years. But they're out there to help.
We always could blow the whistle. We could always make a penalty call. We could do what we needed to do to make sure everybody was safe and the game was being run properly.
Well,
right?
So I guess.
Did I just overstep my boundary?
I never interfered because it was my understanding we weren't supposed to technically basically be there. But they help you out with where you're going to stand. The biggest thing that we try to cover in seminars, especially Level 1s, when you're sitting there for 8 hours. No offense, nobody's really paying attention to us when we cover score sheets. And you know what? A lot of people don't realize, when
I'm not sure the Level 3s and 4s pay attention when you talk score sheets.
Well, I want to stress the importance of that because that score sheet becomes a legal document. So, if somebody gets hurt and you end up in a courtroom 3 or 4 years later, and let me tell you, you've refereed 1,000 games in between that, you're going to want that score sheet to be as accurate as you can because they're going to come up to you and say, do you remember on the night of February 13th, 2017, when it was snowing outside and there was sunshine at the same time, this player getting hurt? And you're going to be like, the hell are you talking about? No, you're just going to be like,
I don't remember what I had for lunch yesterday, okay?
Right. So, I stress that, getting guys complete and women. I always say guys, I group everybody together. But, the seminars that are added, if you're not in Chicago, IHOA doesn't charge you or anything if you're out of our local. We had 6 guys in a Level 4, I believe it was, and they were from California.
Oh, wow.
And you know what? Because we do things so differently and talk hockey differently, they had a ton of questions, which made the seminar more fun for the instructors.
Oh, nice.
So, talking hockey is something that we like to do. So when you're in a seminar,
Not
ask
us.
questions.
We do this every week. No script, everybody. We just talk. We just get on and go.
Could you imagine if we did have a script?
Yeah.
I mean,
It wouldn't be any fun. By the way, there was a Facebook comment up from one of the guys that said Brad needs a middle name. So if you have a good idea for Brad's middle name, because I'm Scott Smokin', so Brad needs a name. There were some thoughts, but if you have one, love to see it in the comments. Put it up, and we'll share some of those. Maybe we will add, Brad Bomb Rock, or Brad Bring Me More Beer Bomb Rock, something like that to
Brad backwards Bomb Rock. I'll wear a hat backwards all the time.
Right.
It'd be my stitch.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, as we continue here, don't forget to click the there's a link that we've put into the chat that you'll need if you're on the Facebook group of Ref Room, and we'd appreciate it if you would do that so that you can have your comments publicly seen, just like you're seeing here now. Everybody seems to be coming in pretty nicely. We've got another one from Karen.
Yep.
Karen, how are you? Let's see. Karen says, sometimes the official has to talk the scorekeeper through how to fill out the score sheet. Yeah, that happens pretty much regularly, and if you're not doing that, you're doing yourself a disservice. You need to definitely make sure that if you have a penalty situation or whatever is on the score sheet, that it's done properly, whether it's a suspension for a player that's, the suspension is being served, signing the score sheets, making sure everything is accurate. It's really important. And as Brad said, it is a legal document. So, make sure you actually look at it.
Hey, Scott,
stuff happens.
Since we're talking about this, have you ever refereed an entire game, which thankfully I haven't, but, double check in between periods. After the first period, take a look, just kind of glance at it. Don't make it obvious, because I've heard a couple people, they got off the ice and the scorekeeper went, I had no idea what I was doing, so I didn't fill any of this out.
Yeah. I've had a couple weird situations. I've had situations where a parent was changing the names and the numbers to coincide with their website or something. It's like, that's not how it works. The players that are out there have their numbers. The name and number are associated with what goes on the score sheet, not what you have on your website. So, just crazy little things like that. I had another scorekeeper that got so busy, he was on phone calls the whole game and wasn't paying attention to anything. And it's like, well, you got a job to do here for us, and you need to do the job. So if you're not getting the cooperation and assistance you need, send them packing. I'm serious, guys. You'll have you may have a situation too where, a parent is back there. They are a minor official of that game when they are in the scorer's box. So if they are back there raising their hand for every icing and complaining about penalties, just nicely ask them to step out and get somebody else back there and remind them. I usually remind them, hey, when you're back here, you're a minor official. It's Wednesday. Everything's blowing up. UPS couldn't come yesterday because of the snow. I even went to the UPS store twice, 2 different ones, and they were all closed. I'm like, I thought you guys are 24/7. Come on. So the Porch Pirates are probably getting my hockey merchandise as we speak. So,
remember with that responsibility of a minor official, they are treated as an official.
Yes.
So the rules apply to them the same way as they apply to us on the ice. So if you have a player assault them, that is a match penalty.
Right.
Okay. Make sure it's the exact same for off-ice officials as it is on-ice officials.
Player reaches in to play with the score clock and make a change, not having it. Mm-hmm. Little things like that. And also, the parents or the scorekeeper should not be back there drinking beer and doing the things that are not allowed within, the rules of hockey.
Correct.
Which,
so that I can state that can be a somewhat uncomfortable conversation to have.
Yeah, there goes that $7 beer. You better chug it or get it out of here somehow fast, because it can't be back there.
Yep. And you know what? Make sure that you are upholding that the best of your ability. I know that there's been times where some parents have snuck things in, and you're like, it's in the third period, and you got 4 minutes left, and you're like, really? Now you're going to do this? It's like, and you got to wheel over there and be like, knock it off. Like, we got 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, can't you wait? Like, it's not that big of a deal right now. Hey, hand it off. Put it outside the glass. I don't care what you're doing. Just, that looks awful.
Exactly.
Especially if you're officiating, or even worse, let's say they get out of control.
Yeah.
And then the one coach goes, well, the guy was in there. He was drinking alcohol the whole time. He's hammered. What was he even doing there?
Yeah.
So it falls back onto us as the on-ice officials. We oversee the entire game, which means players, participants, fans, and minor officials. So if you have an uncomfortable situation, going to have to maybe ask one of the coaches to get him packing, find out which team he's with, have them deal with them. Because the last thing you want to do is end up in an altercation because of a scorekeeper. And you still need to stay in the game. They're not really that relevant.
Yeah. Usually you can find somebody, or, an assistant coach can go in there if necessary. They know somebody. They'll text somebody. They'll get somebody over there. They're very good about that. But I've never had a problem with the parents with that. If you talk to them, most of them are pretty reasonable. They all know the deal. It's not the first time usually that they've been in the scorer's box. Where it gets weird, and it's not even a beer situation, it seems like playoff time, which we're not having this year, but during playoff time, you get people coming into rinks that they've never been in and working clocks that they've never used before. And I've found that during the playoff time period, we have a tougher time. I'm not saying like the high school games, but if you're doing like, squirts, peewees, bantams, things of that nature, for some reason, there's more clock issues during the playoff season. So maybe you have an answer as to why that is.
I don't know, but when we first came back, I did a very high-level AAA game, U18s, and the dad goes, I've never done this before. And I seriously asked him, I said, your kid's 18, right? Yeah. I go, how did you avoid this for the last 12 years? He's like, I'm normally not here. I was busy. He goes, the pandemic, he goes, I don't travel now. He goes, I normally watch remotely, or I watch the game on video when I get back. And I'm like,
wow.
I'm like, and you volunteered now for this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, he's got to be on the road. He's got to pay that $30,000 a year for his kid to play hockey. So he probably has to work. I certainly get that. I mean, it's a big commitment, when you've got parents trying to pay for kids' hockey. It's not cheap. It's not
cheap at all.
We've been talking about doing a show with what the costs are for hockey, and I do have, Blake Sorensen that was on the show a while back. Blake said he would do that for us if we wanted to kind of talk, because he's got some experience with the different calibers of play and what it actually costs, whether it's a high school team or a AAA team or whatever. Might be kind of fun. I don't know if that's something you guys would like. Put something in the comments. The other thing we wanted to do, and we've kind of talked about this, but the reason we haven't done it yet, we actually really need to more screenshot it than to go live, and that is to show you some tips and tricks on the AHI website, because there's some things I didn't know about, even after 9 years, and all of us seem to use it differently. When I've sat down with other friends of mine and tried to figure something out, like they have a different way of doing things and how they roll. So I thought we could share some of those ideas over the next couple weeks. We'll have to prepare for that. But if that's something you'd like, give us a thumbs up in the comment section, and we can make that happen. I know that we had Bob McPherson on a while back, and we talked a little bit about the Horizon site. So there's multiple sites out there, guys. And right now you've got Three Blind Mice, you've got the AHI site, you've got Horizon, plus whatever else, gets sent out. A lot of TBAs out there.
There's people using what's called Arbiter as well. That's another platform that we could possibly go through. Like, it's just, we don't want to. I'm
not familiar with it, so.
Well, we don't want to do it unless there's enough people that want us to do it, because it's going to be quite a bit of prep, and we're going to have to run through it a couple times, because it's a lot of information, and trying to go through some of the sites, it shows up your personal information. So
and that's the big thing.
We got to block some of that out.
Exactly. So, we'd be happy to do it. So let us know, what your thoughts are on that. And as we continue here, let's look at a few of these things. So here's somebody that said, what did they say? First of all, they obviously did not click the link. So whoever the Facebook user is, please click the link. Pay a third party to do that. Solves a lot of problems and no parents involved. Yeah, listen, I'm 100% in agreement with that. I think that when we have the real scorekeepers, I mean, if you go to Skokie, you've got the legendary Alan working the scorer's box, who is a wonderful guy. And, you know, you walk in, he's got the score sheet ready. He's got the names on there. He's taking care of everything for you. So he makes it really easy. He knows how to put the penalties up. He knows how to do everything on the scorer's clock. He gets it. He knows who's supposed to come out of the box. I find the biggest thing is if you've got, you know, more than one penalty in the box, just trying to get them, a coincidental, don't put it up on the board. You see it all the time. Yeah. And the other thing, you know, you have maybe you're going to have a major penalty. You've got an injury situation, and you come over there and you haven't even reported a penalty, and they just throw 2 minutes up on the clock. It's like, whoa, take that down. I didn't even talk to you about a penalty yet. So, you know, remove that until we give you a decision as to what the penalty is going to be, because I had that happen at a rink and it was a 5 in a game. You know, I'm like, get that off the board. There's no reason for a 2-minute penalty going up there right now. But, you know, we have to wait. You take your time, you make your decision, and then you let them know, and they can go ahead and post it up. But they shouldn't be doing it on their own without, you know, getting some direction from us.
Well, again, you know, with that being said, too, Scott, when they throw that 2 minutes up there, you're already getting yelled at by a coach.
Oh, yeah.
You haven't even had a chance to go talk to him yet and say, hey, I got this, and it's okay, and we're all hopefully on the same page here. Now, you might have one party that's still upset, but, you know, they're upset because they're passionate. They're not mad at you. They're mad at your outfit.
Yeah. Yeah. They pretty much know probably the player is going home at that point. So, you know, it's hard. The coaches don't like it. The kids don't like it. The parents don't like it. Nobody likes it. And I get it. But, you know, can't do the time. Don't do the crime.
It's not illegal until the referee puts his arm up, Scott.
Right. Exactly.
Think about it that way.
Yeah. So I like the idea as well. Chris likes a lot of rinks have their own timekeepers. And what else did Chris have to say? He said, this weekend was crazy in Dallas with the snow. Power kept going. Yeah, that's been on the national news. I saw that on the Today Show this morning, that Dallas, like, I don't know what the deal is, but Texas has their own grid situation, and I guess it's a disaster down there. I mean, they are really suffering. They've got no heat, no electric, or they got rolling power. They get a couple hours of it. So, yeah, Texas is having a tough time. So, you know, we're thinking about you, all you guys down in Texas that are working. I guess you're probably not having any games because there's no electricity for the rinks, no place to go other than trying to stay warm. So,
well, the pool is open.
The pool is open. It's 45 degrees down there. Did you see how much snow they have down there? They've never had snow. They got like back-to-back snow days. So
I got a buddy down there, and he's got a little one, like 1-2 years old, and he took a laundry basket and tied a rope to it and was running around with them like a snow sled because they don't get snow. And he's like, I'm not going to go buy one. I'm like, and I saw that video and I laughed and I was like, that's a great idea. And it was so amusing because he's out there in his referee unders with a pair of shorts over it and a jacket because he doesn't really have that kind of stuff to wear. Like,
no down jacket. You know, it's like when you go to spring break in Florida, if you ever gone down to, like Miami area or something for spring break, you know, when you were in high school, college, or even beyond. And, you know, it's late March and we go down there and it's 65, 70 degrees and you're like short pants and t-shirt. And you see all the native people, they've got the down jacket on and the hat and the coat. And they're like, it's only 65 degrees here. We're going to, you know, it's over. So just toughing it out. Dry heat, yes.
Dry heat? Is it dry heat there?
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's see.
Hundreds is 100.
Right. Paul says Costa Youth Hockey presentation would be very interesting. Well, thanks, Paul. I think it would too. I mean, you'd be really amazed at what the prices are for players to play hockey. I mean, we're only a very small portion of what they pay out, basically. Had the 16U semi, Chicago Hawks versus Chicago Jets. They don't like each other. Of course not.
Welcome
of course
to
not.
Chicago.
Exactly. Yeah, they're both good organizations and both have good teams. So No, they don't like each other. I have not. I had Hawks against somebody else. I've had a couple of their teams. They've really improved. Their coaching and everything has gone, straight up in the last few years. They've really gotten things together, and they are very formidable competitors. So, they've done a great job. Jets always have some good players, good coaches, and as they've grown, their midget team is really good. I had their U18 team against, I think, the Express a couple weeks back. Physical game, man. All the games are physical. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I think having everybody locked up for 9 months, these guys are just raging, and not in a bad way. But the games are very physical and very fast, much faster and much more physical than I recall in recent years. Do you feel the same way?
They're definitely faster because we haven't skated for 8 months. So they've been here or there skating. It's almost like we're looking at mid-season hockey, and we're still in September.
September,
so it's difficult
October.
from our side. And that's understandable, but that'll bring us into the numbers issue that we wanted to cover, Scott. So
yeah,
I think we could segue into that.
Here's a number before we get to that. The referee community combined. I wonder how many pounds we've all lost over the last 2 weeks.
I don't know. I've lost quite a few already, so I'm working at it.
Good. We can barely see you on the screen. You've thinned down so much, Brad.
Oh yeah. Thank you, Scott. You should see when I shave.
Right. There goes another 2 pounds. All right. Well, so let's go through some of the numbers. First of all, there's been a ton of games out there, everybody, and I've never seen that many TBAs coming across my. Honestly, I thought there were at least 50 one day, maybe more.
I think everybody's on overload. It doesn't matter what area you're in, because pretty much every area, there are some areas that are still closed. I know the East Coast still has a bunch of stuff closed, but like in the areas that have opened up, everybody's skating if they can. Now, mind you, it's only 50% probably of the teams are actually skating games still at this point. So it's very
hard to believe.
Right, because if not, we'd be overwhelmed. And I know that some games have been canceled.
Wait, we're not already overwhelmed?
We're
been
very
pretty overwhelming
now.
Yeah.
That's why if anybody's interested that doesn't officiate, go back and take a look at IHOA.com. We have some seminars coming up. You can register for them. I know that they're open. And
hey, wait. We don't have an affiliate. We don't have an affiliate link for this. We're not getting a commission on it.
Yeah, well, I think we can. If any other local had it out there, I think we can promote it for them too.
Absolutely.
And
we need guys. We need referees. We need officials.
And I, as much as I try and I want to be, and I will myself, I can't be in 2 places at once. It's just impossible. And you can't, Scott. And there's just a physical limitation.
We try.
To how many games you can skate? Like
it's the same thing for the entertainment business. I'd love to be in 2 places at once. As soon as I can figure out how to do that, I'm going to really have a good thing going.
No, so the numbers are low. Let's put it that way. We're really hurting for officials. Did we have
a lot of games that had to be canceled or running solo?
There were a few. That's going to happen throughout the season anyways, especially with stuff going on we got snowstorms going on. We got quite a few things that are happening all at the same time that hockey's
all coming for us quickly.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see like a big boat roll in on Lake Michigan and smash into the city like in that Armageddon, not Armageddon movie, but the one where it all freezes over. And
I think it's already frozen over, so yeah.
But it's very interesting out there that we would start back up, and so would Winter, and Elsa showed up, and she's pissed off apparently. So,
no, okay, all right. We had a couple things we wanted to talk about as well today. We actually got an email from another official that wanted us to cover a few things, and it's something that a couple things that we've actually talked about before. So we are going to cover the whistle situation again because that has come up, and people have requested that we kind of go through that again. So we're going to show the video for that in a couple minutes. But there's a couple other things going on. And, do you want to take a look at that email, Brad? And let's try to answer some of the questions and maybe give some, best practices.
The first thing was on there, it wasn't the first thing on there, but I think the first thing we should cover is, what's a good gator to wear out on the ice? And you know what? I've tried about 3 or 4 different neck gaiters. The ones that you can pull up and see through seem to be the best that you can breathe. So that was a question. I don't know if you found anything different, Scott. The next thing
I've been wearing the one from Eric that we got, that he sent us for the ref room for our holiday show. It looks like a referee stripes, and the only thing, and it has nothing to do with the gator that itself. It's just you get so sweaty out there that every time you pop that thing up for a face off or to go retrieve the puck, it splatters all over your shield. It's just the reality of things, guys. It's not easy. I mean, you find yourself working with, moisture on your shield sometimes during the game. I always keep even when we don't have that going on, I've always kept a microfiber towel cloth in my pocket so that I can wipe. You bend over to pick up a puck, sweat comes down, whatever, it works. I mean, that's my habit. That's something that I always do. So maybe you might want to think about that even more now that if you're wearing that gator, you may be getting more spray on your shield as you're doing your thing.
Well, I think the next biggest thing is I know a lot of people are complaining because you're much warmer than you are, and you're sweating more from your brow area and your head. And I don't know. I don't think I'm the only one that's experienced that, because I've had quite a few people complain about it. But they're having the actual dripping then when they bend over and it's getting into their visor. So I can give you guys a real simple tip that a lot of guys use. Go down to your local corner drugstore, grab yourself some feminine pads, and if you don't know what those are, find your mother, find your girlfriend, ask them what it is, and put it up in your helmet. You can wear one a game, and it takes care of that entire problem. Bauer makes them, and a couple other companies make them.
I've never tried the female product version of that, but I think we were given one at one of the seminars once, and they last for a game or two. They're actually very good. I mean, they do the job. It's an excellent product, and I know a lot of officials, they use them religiously, so it works. Yeah, that may be another option. Is that something you use, Brad? I mean, I don't keep that in my helmet. Again,
I'm lucky. I don't sweat that much.
I'm a fan. Area. I'm a fan of the microfiber cloth. These are great. You got to always have one close by for your eyeglasses and your shield. They work very well. It's just what works for me. If you guys have another suggestion, or put it in the comments. We'd love to hear what you guys do. And if you have a gator that you really like, share it so everybody knows. All right. Yep. The other things we were going to talk about, I think we were going to talk about this. Whistles. We were asked to talk about this from an email, and that was, the mask situation. So, what's appropriate in the locker rooms, guys? Well, we are under, the rules and guidelines that whether you agree or disagree, we need to follow the rules. That's just the way it is. We enforce the rules. We know the rule book, so I think we have to be held to that same standard, that we follow the rules just like we impose the rules on people. So it's the right thing to do.
Well, you're talking along the lines of locker room etiquette, right?
Yes, locker room etiquette. Yes.
Okay, so the mask thing is one thing. If your partner is adamant on a mask in the locker room, which most people are, and I have no issues with that. Number one, if you are that person, just let your partner know, especially if you're uncomfortable. Say something, just say, hey, I'd prefer that. And if you're the person that's not wearing it, say, hey, I understand. Help them out. What's the mask being on for a couple extra minutes? What's the difference?
It's not a big deal. Yeah.
The next thing is too, just standard locker room etiquette, one thing is the thing that was one of my breakouts was don't leave your giant wheelie bag in the middle of the locker room floor. Find a spot for it. If there's 6 of them in there and you guys are all going on the ice at the same time, pile them up in the corner. There's people coming in after you.
Yeah, I don't understand. I mean, for some of the guys, I always try to put my stuff in my bag and put it away. But a lot of the guys, they have containers. They got all their crests. They got their whistles. They got their candy. They got whatever, and they spread it out all over. It's like you are not going to be the only official. That is not going to be the only game that takes place in that rink. And then you go in there and you really don't want to touch anybody's stuff and start moving things. So, guys, put your stuff away. And I'm not going to. I see some of the veteran referees do the same thing, but the young guys, I mean, they leave their cell phones on the benches and everything. I mean, they just leave it out. I mean, it's not a great idea. I'm going to be the first to tell you, I won't even bring a wallet into a hockey rink. It's just smart practice.
If
Don't do it.
Somebody wants to pay my credit card bill, steal my wallet.
Yeah, well.
No,
I'm just saying, I nothing good can come from that, guys. So please, and out of respect for your fellow officials that need a space to dress, the rooms are very small in most of these places. They're broom closets in most cases, and you're right on top of each other. So, put your stuff away. And the other thing, knock the ice off your skate blades before you come in the ref room. Don't leave the puddle. Nobody likes having to sit in the wet spot.
Yep. No, I agree with you. I was going to get to that.
That's another major thing for referees that guys don't like.
That, and if there's a garbage can in the room, or if there's not, take your garbage with you or throw it in the proper receptacle. You walk in a long locker room and a long weekend, and there's 500 water bottles thrown around the locker room, and it's
maybe
one of my
I don't know. I don't see that. Maybe my area is a little different. Maybe they put their water bottles in the garbage can. I don't usually see that in the rinks where
anytime there's free water, that happens.
Oh, we don't get free water. That's probably why. So
we would be.
It used to be they teams would put water and maybe even some energy bars or snacks in the rooms. I have not seen that in the last year and a half, 2 years. So I don't know what's going on, but there seems to be a budget reduction in taking care of your referees that are doing your games. And now more than ever, you guys should be taking care of your referees because you really need us. We actually, they need refs.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's hard to put on a hockey game without guys in stripes or gals.
Yeah, coaches out there in sweatsuits not going to cut it, okay? It's not the same, guys. I don't care what you say.
The one thing I'll tell you, Scott, is the cleanest hockey game that I've ever witnessed was when the referees didn't show up for a men's league game because of scheduling error, and the two teams decided to play against each other. Nothing happens when there's no referees there. It's very weird.
Yeah,
it's like a conundrum.
It does change things. And you still have the guys that want to take the puck in offsides. They know they're offsides, but it's like, oh, I can do that anyway. It's kind of like a rental or rat hockey deal. I'm going to get away with it anyway, so I'm going to do it. There were a couple other points we wanted to cover today, and I just lost my train of thought. Senior moment.
One of the other we got 2 emails actually about this. Was the whistles. So Scott, you got a nice
we
little
do want to do the
video.
Yeah, we could do that. Yeah, we could do that right now. You talk for a second while I set this up, okay?
That's fine. Well, a lot of people have asked about the electronic whistles, and then the P-less and the standard Acme, and then there's the Fox 40, and there's the Fox 40 P-less, and yada yada yada, and then there's the Fox 40 electronic, and which is the best one? You know what? We did a little promo. It's pretty good. Scott did it while the Zamboni was trying to chase him down on the ice with our buddy Brett, who helped out because he had quite a few of these objects laying around somehow. I do know that a lot of the electronic whistles were sold out for quite a while. I believe they're back into stock. So if you want to get one, go ahead.
Scott Smoke and Sills from the Ref Room, and today I wanted to share with you the different whistle choices we've got.
Hang on, sorry.
Right.
I
that's okay.
I gotta say,
since they're back, great. go ahead. But the one thing is, I've worked with 2 officials that used electronic whistles. And you know what? When you're the official with an actual whistle, you really got to listen because that whistle is not very loud. So when they hit the button, you need to hit your whistle again.
Yeah, I will tell
so
you what my
everybody
favorite
knows.
whistle is after we play this, and we'll talk about it a little bit. So let's go ahead. I'm going to switch it up here. And
It's Scott Smoking Sills from the Ref Room, and today I wanted to show a few of the different whistle choices we've got, because now with the pandemic, there's a lot of places that are requiring you to wear a mask or a gaiter, which we have, and it's a little hard to blow the whistle through a face mask. So the Gator's a little bit better for that, but we have these electronic whistles, and this one is the one that was recommended to me. I'll let you be the judge, okay? It's got 3 settings on it. You need some tape on this because they're really slippery. This is called the fish, I believe. And we turn it on, and we start with number 3, number 2, and number 1. They're not really that loud. That's compared to like an Acme Thunder. Now, I'm going to show you the one that Brett's got right here. Brett is kind enough to be filming. Great guy. And he's got the Fox 40 right here. This one's a little bit louder. Got a couple settings on this. More like a telephone ring. More like a basketball whistle. So I'd say probably setting 3 on each of these. Well, let's show you the settings between them. The Fox 40 and the fish. Okay, and we've also got the P-less whistle, so I'm going to switch here and let Brett come in, because he's got the P-less whistle. And now we're going to do this both ways. We're going to do it with the Gator on and with the Gator off, because these really work pretty well with the Gator on, guys.
Yep, so this is the Fox 40 call.
And that's
Not
through
too
the
bad.
Gator. Pull down the
And
the
then
mask.
whiz out.
So a little different pitch, guys. So let's hear the differences. I'm going to blow the Acme while Brett blows the other, and you'll see the difference. So here we go. Okay? So a little bit on whistles, guys. Thanks for checking us out.
okay, so we had the Movembers going. Wait, did that you notice
Yeah,
a little difference?
I forgot that you had that.
Yeah. So anyway, I like the call. I've actually switched. I am now using the call as my regular whistle. That is my main whistle. I even not using my Thunderers anymore. And there's a couple reasons, and I've got a couple of them. One, I've noticed in the cold rinks, I had that black Thunderer. My hands get colder with that thing for some reason. That just seems to suck in all the cold. If you have the call whistle, it's very comfortable. Now, I don't have the biggest hands in the world. Like some of you guys have like these monster fingers. It may be tough because you can't really adjust the finger grips on them. But you don't even need to tape these whistles. These whistles are great. They sound great. You can use them through the Gator. They blow pretty easily. They're nice and loud. And, you know, if you're in a situation and you get the whistle up quick and you don't quite get it to your mouth as much as you'd like, it still sounds great versus, you know, where you're like, oh, I got to get it into my mouth all the way before I can blow the whistle and people can hear me. So I like the call. That is my new favorite whistle. And we have links for those in the description, I think, in some of our YouTube videos. So take a look at it, guys.
Yeah.
That's a possibility.
I'm sticking with the Acme.
Yeah, the electronic
I'm a
whistle,
traditionalist.
I'm just not feeling it. I mean, that was the one that one of our fellow officials recommended. And when I saw him, I was like, this is really the whistle. And he's like, no, that's different from the one. I'm like, well, you sent me the link. This is the link I clicked to buy the whistle. But, you know, I think if you're going to have to buy an electronic whistle, I probably would recommend that Fox 40. I think that's probably the best of what's out there. Again, I'm not a fan. Not a fan,
Yeah,
guys.
I'm not a fan. The bad part is right now is I'm not a particular fan of where now my partner's whistle sounds different than mine.
Well,
So
you make a good
actually
point. There are,
you're separating us
yeah.
because now you're making us more identifiable. Which, you know, like I said many times, they don't. It's not that they don't like you; they don't like your outfit. And I think now that you're starting with, you know, different
Hey, I don't
whistles,
like our
and now
outfit
you're
either.
separating each
I
other
vote
either.
for a new jersey. I'm tired of looking like the Foot Locker salesman. I tell you guys that all the time. Can't we get the wider stripes? Can't we get a little change, a little pizzazz, something that's a little newer and fresher? I'm all for that, but hey,
I don't know. I'm stuck in the traditional
traditionalist, yes.
ways. I'm stuck in it.
But I'm finding more and more guys are using the call whistle, so I don't think it's as distinguished between the officials as before. I mean, maybe if you have a partner, if I work with you, I could grab my Thunderer and we could sound the same, Brad. But I see a lot of guys using the call. I think that's becoming a very popular whistle very fast. That's what they're using in the NHL now. So
Right.
usually that's the trendsetter. People are becoming accustomed to the sound of it because it's a little
Yeah,
different.
but right now, the one thing I'll point out is the NHL doesn't have very many fans in the building. And that whistle, even though it's loud, it doesn't have the same effect in your ear like the old P inside of a whistle, because you can feel like even players hard of hearing can feel the shock of a whistle being blown. I don't know how it works with that whistle because right now they're playing in empty buildings. It's great to hear it now. Are you going to hear it when there's 20,000 people in the stands? I don't know.
Well,
I mean,
I haven't had 20,000 at any of the games that I've worked recently.
Well, hey, I don't think I'm going to have 20,000 at any of my games, but I'm just stating the NHL's using it right now. Yes, it's a good, convenient thing, but once you go back to full stadiums and ambient noise. I use the word ambient. I just realized that.
Wow.
That all affects all that. If the players can't hear the whistle, guess what? They're not going to be using it anymore.
Yeah, I think they'll be able to hear it. I think it's pretty loud and clear. So, we got to take a different stance on this. Apparently, that's part of the show.
Hey, I'm just saying.
I lose every battle. I mean, that's just the way the shows work. All the shows I do, I lose every battle. So,
what we should do is we should have a trivia thing or something, Scott, and we should put it together. And I'll get all the questions wrong. And we'll have a mediator, and you'll get them all right. And no matter what, they're just going to say that.
No, it'd be the opposite. You'll get all the answers right, and I'll be the one that's wrong. So that's just the way it is. Brett, we got a couple of things. Gary, hey, how are you? Let's see. Gary says Southwest Ice Arena is the only place I've been offered a cold beverage. Well, I was just there the other day, and I didn't get offered anything, okay, other than, thank you for joining us. And let's see, Brett says, it's super important with the e-whistle to point it vertical or horizontally. When pointed down at the ice, it's dramatically softer. Yeah. Brett, I'm not a fan. I know you got one. I don't see you using it. Why don't you bring it to the game tonight?
There you go.
We'll be observing a practice tonight together. So why don't you bring that? And I think Brett is in the middle. I haven't worked a 3-man in over a year.
Yeah.
I mean,
a long time.
Yeah. It'll be fun. So bring that, Brett. Love to see you with that tonight, and we'll see how that works out for you. I know he's bringing his call whistle. Who's he kidding? All right. Anything else you guys want to go over?
I got nothing right now. I just got funny stories. There's already been some amusing stories, and some of them aren't show worthy. Let's put it that way.
Brett says no thanks. Gary P. Let's see. Gary P. had me using it. No good on the sound. Yeah, I agree. Brett says he'll have the call. Yes, the call will be in effect, in play tonight. Yes. All right. Well, yeah, actually, this is my 9th season. Last night I skated with somebody I have never skated with, and I've known him for 50 years. I skated with Pops last night, Mr. Joe Prescott. And what a pleasure. I had such a good time with him last night. What a great guy. Just catching up on some of the stories and things of that nature. I think he was going to tune in today to check out the show. I don't know if he did or not, but, I had a ball. Great guy, lots of conversation, lots of fun. And, what can I say? It's pretty cool when you talk to the guys that have been around hockey for a long time, and they've got stories after story after story. We should get them on the show one day, Brad.
Yeah, we could probably do that. You know what's funny is Mr. Prescott Joe
Yeah.
Pops stopped officiating for a very, very long time.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And our seminar coordinator, who was Central District Referee and Chief Shelky Brown at the time, went into a Kinko's copy place to make copies for seminars and bumped into Joe and said, "Hey, why don't you come back out?" And Joe came out, and he's been around ever since. He's got tons of stories. If you get a chance to work with Joe, ask him some stuff. He'll tell you things that you would never even imagine. He used to work at a rink, and this was in the old chain link fence era. And you'd be working junior hockey as a linesman, and there was this little old lady. She was about 80 years old. She sat on the blue line, and I forget where it was. He would tell me this story, and she would sit there. Nice, sweet old lady, right? Well, the second that you would go do a washout signal on the blue line, she'd stick her hand through the chain link fence and poke you with a needle.
What?
Mm-hmm.
And they allowed that to continue?
Oh, yeah. It like Joe said, it was bad. Like, sometimes, like the home team, they'd lose or whatever, and they'd come in and they'd throw a sack of pennies in the middle of the ref room and say, "Good luck." Like, they'd have to divide up the pennies and the chain. Like, it was way different. Like, he's got so many good stories. I mean, I know I heard a story. This isn't a bad, well, it's an interesting one. Joe was working a game, and Joe liked to climb the glass, like you've seen some photos of that.
Well, when it used to be shorter on the sides,
Right. So back in the day, so Joe is refereeing in a Chicago rink, and the referee in chief saw that he was reffing, and he's like, "I'm going to go say hi to him." I'm in the area, and he walks in, and Joe is sitting on top of the glass as players are slamming into it, fighting for the puck, and he's like, "What are you doing up there? Like, we haven't done this in a long time." And he's like, "Oh, like," so it's really cool to get to know Joe and have him around, and he's a big proponent of learning and developing and moving things along, and then he loves to tell you stories. He's got so many great stories that I can't even imagine how many there are.
That's one of the great things, that I missed, when we played hockey, and you're on a team, you got the locker room with 15, 20 guys in there, and or men's league, you got 8 or 9 guys in there. But there's great stories, and there's adult beverages afterwards and more stories. And, that was something I thought we would miss. But, there's some great storytellers in the referee community, and there are some great stories to be shared. And guys, if you have some stories you want to share, we'd love to hear about them. We'd love for you guys to come on and share some stories, because, there's lots of entertaining things that go on that we observe.
Yeah. And, Scott, I want to go back to our first point that was about the weather. Number one, it's gorgeous out. Number two, we did have the game that we were worried about going to because it was really snowing hard. Remember, calling the coaches or anything is a super duper last resort. Okay. If it would have been snowing and it was 3 inches on the ground or whatever, you'd probably had it was a very rare occasion that you do.
Well, that was a very rare snowstorm that we got the other night. Listen, I shoveled. So that night, before I went to bed, I went out and shoveled the front of the building and the sidewalks. And when I got up the next morning, I had 2 feet of snow in my backyard. Everything that I had shoveled out. The front yard was up above the door. You couldn't open the door because the snow had blown up that high. I mean, it was crazy over here. And where I live, I've got a car wash next door to me. Now, normally I'm not real excited about having them next door. It's a lot of traffic. It's a lot of noise. But I'm really grateful when it snows because they have a plow. And, they used to only go and do their little section. And I'd go over there and be like, "Hey, you guys tie up the whole alley. I got to go out the other way when I come out of my garage. I need you to do the whole alley. Everybody around here needs a way to get out because you guys tie up that alley." And they do it, and I'm very appreciative of it. So, that saves me a lot of shoveling. I mean, I only have to go by the garage door and shovel out to, the part that the plow got to. But without it, we wouldn't even get out of the alley. Honestly, like if you see the side streets here, if some of you guys are in the burbs, if you haven't been in the city, I mean, it's taken people 3 and 4 hours to dig out of their their parking spot if they were parked on the street and they got snowed in or plowed in. It's bad.
That's why you can mark your space in Chicago.
Yes, we have the DIB system. If you're not familiar with the DIB system, and let me just give some advice to anybody out there, for all you suburban people. If you come in the city and you find that beaten up lawn chair or a broom, or I don't care if it's a branch in that snow pile, don't even think about parking your car there for the rest of the season, because your car may not be there when you return. That is the DIB system. That is a Chicago thing. They have tried to stop that for 20 or 30 years that I'm aware of, and there's no stopping it, okay? I mean, you don't stand a chance on that one. So DIB's parking in Chicago.
Yeah. Since you mentioned a car wash right next door, the ref room needs a sponsor.
Yeah.
I don't know how much you go there.
Yeah, well, they're nice. I get my car washed for free there, but it's not a great car wash. I mean, it's old school. It's fine, but they're really nice to us over there. So I appreciate them. They've got a little convenience store and everything, so they're very kind.
Good.
But besides that, and it's like having 24-hour security, because there's a guy standing out there watching my building all day long. So I really appreciate that. Stories of Chicago. Hopefully, we start to see spring in a couple of weeks. We're almost at March. Hard to believe. Now, I got a question, actually, Brad. So we had John Dunn on the show. Was it last week or the week before? I think last week.
Before.
See, I can't remember what game I did when. But
that's okay.
They were talking about the rosters for A-High and March 31st. There's no extension. So what's going to happen when we get to March 31st? I mean, we start our spring league. Spring league starts. The 8th graders come in. Things, kind of progress. But normally there's a bit of a lull between like mid-March into like the first week or so of April before things really ramp up again. Are we still going to be looking at a slowdown during that time period, or do you think we're just going to keep rolling with games like crazy like we're seeing now? Is that going to continue, and are we going to see senior nights and things of that nature that we typically see?
I think you're going to see just a lot of games being played till these rosters run out. When the roster's out, the roster's out, so they can't do it that way. But that doesn't mean that teams can't have supervised practices again. So I mean, I'd be shocked if we don't see hockey kind of just roll a little bit later than it normally would.
Yeah, I mean, normally they, the coaches start bringing the players in and they go back to practice and they do a couple weeks prep, but they've been practicing for 8 or 9 months. I mean, I don't think many guys really want to bag skate anymore. I think they want to play. So I'm just kind of curious if you think we'll just be on a steady pace here, even for like referees that are coming in that are still getting certified. We're going to have plenty of games for them to observe.
I think we're going to be on a steady pace, and I've talked with other people about this, and the one thing about hockey is practice versus games. You're always getting better when you practice, and when you're always getting better when you practice, the kids, they can care less half the time. Most of the games, that's to fulfill the parents' needs. The parents want to see. The
parents need the games more than the kids.
Being a parent, I get it. About 2 hockey players, I want to see my boys play. I want to see what they've been working on in practice. Does it really change their player progression? Not really. I mean, game experience, you can chalk stuff up to that, but games a lot are a selfish, evil parents-wise. I'm sorry. I'll throw myself in there because I don't get the same fun out of a practice as I do out of a game. Win or lose, it doesn't matter. But again, for me though, I've been reffing so long and worked so many games. Even watching my kids, it becomes tough to even become a fan of who's winning or whatever. Like,
are you tough on the refs during your kid's game? That's what I want to know. Are you sitting up there as a referee, or are you sitting up there as a parent going, "Come on, little Johnny, make that pass"?
I am dad, and I stand there and I am quiet. I may clap or when they score, yay. Other than that, I just watch. And
so when they miss that offsides or that icing gets waved, you're like, I didn't see that.
They're 8. I mean, you know what? The officials working those games are probably developing as well.
Yeah.
And you know what? To expect a kid that's 14 years old to be as good as an official that's been refereeing for 10 years, 20 years, and come out and have a perfect game, guess what?
But see, you understand that, and if we could just pass that same mindset on to the other parents that are watching, that would be great.
The good way to say it is, if referees are going to make mistakes, they feel bad about it. They feel terrible because it does happen.
It does.
And I don't think there's anybody worse than their own enemy after that happens. But I just lost my train of thought.
Senior moment for you too.
no, I got it back. No, but I always compare it to, if there weren't any mistakes, neither team would score and we'd leave 0-0, no matter what. Yeah. Every time.
Mistakes lead to goals.
That's if the players don't have to be perfect, I get the referees. We try to strive to be perfect. We're not perfect. None of us are perfect.
We do. No. It's not going to happen.
I think we work as hard as we can.
But we put a lot of effort into it, and very passionate about it. Nobody wants to be the guy that blows that call or makes that mistake, and especially if it ends up costing somebody a goal or a penalty they don't deserve or whatever. Nobody wants to be in that boat.
Nope. And there's a comment in there that St. Rita has games scheduled all the way.
I just saw that.
April.
Let's put that up here. Karen, thank you for that. So Rita has games scheduled through the end of April. And let's
Karen
see.
Would know.
Mason says Brad is definitely the parent. Start the hate.
Yeah. Thank you, Mason.
Yeah. Who's that ref? Thanks a lot, Mason.
When Mason refs next time and I'm in town, you know who's going to get yelled at.
Right. All right. Well, I can't believe the time has flown by as it always does. So I thank you all for joining us here. It's always fun to do this on Wednesdays. Please, if you haven't subscribed, do so. YouTube, hit the subscribe button and the notification button. Ring the bell. Same thing with if you're a Facebook watcher or viewer. Let's see here. He says, I'll throw you out.
Hey, you know what? It's in his realm. I mean, I get it.
Absolutely.
We're almost up to like 200 something viewers, or not viewers, but subscriptions on YouTube.
Yeah, subscribers.
Might be over now. I haven't looked in a couple weeks.
Well, again, if you guys have some other ideas for shows that you'd like us to cover or some topics, we'd be happy to do that. Just send us an email, refroombrad@gmail.com or refroomscott@gmail.com. And, we appreciate your joining us every week. We're so excited that hockey is back. We're just loving it. I mean, we've all been busy. The days go by fast. The days are long and fast. And it just feels so good to be back out there and see everybody. And I can't say enough about it. I mean, I'm ecstatic. So I'm going to leave you on a happy note here. I'm a happy guy. Yeah. Keep those games coming.
You don't want to talk about face-offs yet, or
you want to talk about face-offs? You want to talk about face-offs?
No,
I'm still on a mission. I'm still on a mission on the face-offs. I mean, I'm still trying to get everybody to square up.
Yeah.
Put your sticks down.
Good.
For all you guys that are players out there, there is a little half moon in that circle. That's where your stick goes.
Sometimes.
Most people don't even know what the half moon is, but that's what it is. In the circle, there's a half moon. Your stick's supposed to go there. And you'd be surprised if you square up, you'll win more face-offs. You will win way more face-offs than if you come in there, in an angle or whatever you're doing. I mean, you see it all the time. We drop a lot of pucks. We observe these things, and we know you will win more face-offs. So come in there square.
Agreed.
Right?
I agree.
All right.
Okay.
All right. So
thanks for watching The Ref Room. If you have an idea for an upcoming show or guest, hit us up. Just email us, refroombrad@gmail.com.
Yeah, we'll let Brad get all those emails. All right, guys. With that being said, I thank you all very much for joining us. Anything you want to say before we part company here?
No, I just be safe on the ice. Now we have to say that.
Yeah, be safe on the ice and be safe getting to the games with all the snow and the icy roads and all that good stuff. And, spring will be here before we know it, so it'll be good. All right, guys, have a great week. On behalf of myself, Scott Smokin' Sills, and my man Brad Baumrock, we thank you for joining us. We'll see you next Wednesday on The Ref Room.